I'm Donna Reish, and welcome to video 2 of Meaningful Composition. Hopefully, if you are a vendor or a curriculum provider, you have Meaningful Composition, the sample book, in front of you, and hopefully you also saw the first video in which I described the basis of a Meaningful Composition and how it was first begun. In this video, I would like to speak specifically to vendors and curriculum providers and tell you more about Meaningful Composition and also how it might help your business. Whether you are a large vendor like Rainbow Resource, who does carry Meaningful Composition and our other books also, or whether you are a curriculum provider such as a unit study program or a grade level specific program, I wanted to tell you how we can also help you. First of all, I would like to tell you a little bit about the authors. I'm the primary author of Meaningful Composition, and my son, Joshua, who's almost 33, is my assistant writer, and he does a lot with the creative writing. His major is history in college, and he actually, you may have heard his story, tested out of his entire degree except for 2 classes for which there were no tests. And then he has many emphases in creative writing, in teaching writing and teaching literature, in various areas of history, as well as in reading and some other areas that he has just studied extensively. So he is a great help to me in developing the new Meaningful Composition books that we have been adding for the last 2.5 years. So this program is written and tested by a teacher turned homeschooler of 30+ years. We began homeschooling 32 years ago this fall when Joshua was 1, and we started out homeschooling my younger sister. So we were very much in the beginning stages of homeschooling in the early 80s, went to Indiana's first homeschool convention, actually met and was a distributor for Dr. Raymond Moore, one of the founders of homeschooling, and had a lot of our training from Dr. Moore as well as Greg Harris, and just really had an amazing start to homeschooling 32 years ago. We are phasing out of homeschooling ourselves. We will graduate our final and our 7th child in June of 2016, and so for the last year he's doing college at home during his senior year. So during the last year or so, I have been phasing out of homeschooling and into much more writing. I've put a lot of time into the Meaningful Composition program for the last 2.5 years, blogging, creating other materials, creating materials for Teachers Pay Teachers and some secular places as well, and developing our seminars, Raising Kids with Character, Raising Teens with Character, and so forth. So anyway, to say that we've been doing this for a while and that I've had a lot of experience is an understatement. But at any rate, hopefully you have if you are a vendor or curriculum provider, you have your Meaningful Composition sample book. As I said in video 1, if you don't have this in front of you, we do have 2 weeks of each book available as samples to download, to print, and try before you buy at our store, Character Ink store. And eventually, Meaningful Composition will be 22 books long because there are 2 books per semester, and so there will be 22 books, and there are 2 weeks of each book to try before you buy. So that's 44 weeks out there floating around for you to try at each grade level and at each type of book to see how Meaningful Composition might work for you. Now, I want to pay special attention to introducing you as a vendor or a curriculum provider to Meaningful Composition and how it might actually help your company to be a carrier of it or to add it to what you already provide. So if you could turn with me to the note that I have to curriculum providers and potential vendors. It's in the front matter of your book with Roman numerals. And it is a letter explaining our program and explaining more about us. But in that, you will find 3 ways that you can potentially carry Meaningful Composition or that our program might benefit you. The first way is to add Meaningful Composition to your catalog, your web store, your convention products, whatever that might be, just to carry Meaningful Composition in your catalog. And we will be ready for that from grades 4 through 11, both semesters, in January of 2016. Rainbow Resource has been carrying Meaningful Composition ever since we began with only 3 books, and they will have all of them too as of that time. In April of 2016, we'll be adding our 2nd and 3rd grade books, my babies as I like to call them. Anxious to get back into those and finish those up. But adding it to your catalog is one way, and we would love to talk further with you about that. The next way is to make it an integral part of your whole curriculum package. We actually sell Meaningful Composition to a lot of people who use other programs as their primary program, especially some unit study programs. We have a lot of people who use unit studies and love the unit study programs out there. There are fantastic unit study programs. I personally use unit studies, some that I developed myself just with my kids, and also the very, very early ones that were out there. Konos brings fond memories to me, but a lot of those unit study programs. But the people who come to us who are using unit study programs, they are in some ways dissatisfied with some of the language arts portions, and so they come to us to get Meaningful Composition. And some of the things that they tell us are that they feel like the writing program that goes with their unit study program is more of a writing idea program, a writing idea book. In other words, you might be studying the French Revolution in the unit study that the person is using, but the writing program is simply just more like write a paragraph comparing, this person's reign to this person's reign, or write about a descriptive paragraph about the streets in the Place de Revolution, and write descriptively, in that paragraph. And so the problem with those types of writing assignments is that those are not writing programs, those are writing ideas. So if you have a book that gives you a project to do, but doesn't prepare you to do that project and doesn't give you the skills that you need to do that project, then you have a writing idea book. So this is where Meaningful Composition could be an asset to your entire program. If you have a unit study program that doesn't have a strong writing element, our 22 books would certainly be something that would help writers in your program to be able to teach writing incrementally with a directed writing approach, just 1 book per student, and it would really, really help your unit study approach. The third way is to hire Character Ink writers to write a Meaningful Composition series just for you. Now, in this approach, when we've done this is actually how we began writing, was for a large homeschool provider in Chicago, and we wrote something like this to coordinate with their unit studies. So when they were studying the French Revolution, we had a writing project that went with that. And that it was only available to that particular provider. It wasn't available to anybody else, but that's actually how we began. And so in this approach, the Character Ink writers would make a Meaningful Composition book just for your program. And we are actually doing this to a small extent in our new program, our new line of books called Book Movies Books, in which we take a current movie and like the one that just came out, Pan, for example, we take a current movie that was originally a children's book many years ago, and that's where the Book Movie Book comes in, and then we make a writing book around that. And we would be happy to show you those books as well, just to give you some idea of how you can take our program, we can take our program here, our methods, our directed writing approach, and we can actually turn it into something that coordinates and correlates with your program. We have those coming out. The first 5 of those will be coming out in December, called, the actual series for that is called Write On, and the first books are called Write On Peter Pan. And there are 5 of those, beginning elementary, upper elementary, junior high, high school, and advanced high school. And you can see how these materials, these programs, these products, these approaches are used all about Peter Pan. And that's what we would be able to do for another company who has a unit study or has a curriculum and wants a writing program to just really dovetail with it, to just be exactly about what their students are studying that month in their unit study program. So that's a third option. So hopefully that will give you some ideas of some ways that you can have meaningful composition as a part of what you are doing for homeschoolers wherever you're at. And I hope that you will join us for the next video, because we are going to get into a lot about the different types of writing that we have in meaningful composition, as well as the directed writing approach, the incremental approach, the skill building prior to each writing assignment, and just how valuable those things are. Thank you.